Hey you guys, I am back with another YouTube video. My dog is literally sleeping right beside me, and I decided, you know what, let me record from my bed because today has been just for me like a lazy day. Like I don't have school today, so sorry y'all, I'm kind of like off track today, but I don't got school today. And I was just like, why not talk about the past Married at First Night? I was about to say Married at First Night. The past Married at First episode that came out. I don't really have a lot to talk about with this episode simply because of the fact that like this episode didn't really have a lot going on besides Madison and David getting and then Madison getting a text message from David saying, I want to eat you up. And then David saying that I meant to go text that to my cousin. And basically it was just really inappropriate, and for me it's giving that either David is cheating on multiple women with Madison, or he's cheating on Madison with he's cheating on Michelle with Madison, or he's cheating on Michelle with Denise, his cousin, which I'm just like, why would you cheat on someone with your cousin? But then I'm stupid because you cannot date your cousin. So I think he's cheating on multiple women with Michelle, or he's cheating on Michelle with Madison, because I did hear some alleged tea that Madison and David have been seen in Target on the outskirts of Chicago. Now that to me is a little bit wild. Some girl said like she saw Madison and David out in Target together, and David and Madison, they were both wearing a ring, and they don't know if it's for their relationship, for their maybe potential relationship, or from Michelle and David's relationship. I don't know, but I honestly hope that Michelle and David do not stay together and they do not work things out, just of the way how like things are. And after like this whole scenery happened, I feel now I'm looking at David like really crazier than I did last week. Now the way how, and I think I was even watching the show with my mom, and my mom was saying like, you know, he gives like he gives cheater vibes. He gives like he was cheating at 1 a.m. in the morning on the first episode on like the wedding day. And she is right, because her intuition is so good. And I was just like, nah, he can't be cheating. And look, it's alleged that like he might potentially be cheating. And in the previews, I think we have the therapist or the coach ask David for his phone, and he's like, I'm not about to show my phone with us in session to Michelle. And then you have Michelle calling Denise, I think his cousin, and so I think Denise says like, oh, this is all in denial in the preview. So I honestly think that like David cheated, and I think it's giving. David gives Stefan from Love is Blind season 7. David and Michelle are starting to give Monica and Steven's relationship. I think David was sexting another woman. It's very much so that like David was really much sexting another woman. He has to be sexting. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna resume this video because I honestly like do not have time to like not finish it. Anyways, yeah, so it's alleged that like David was sexting another woman while Michelle and David were together on this journey. And I think that like the reason why David was sexting another woman is because I don't think David feels as though like he deserves Michelle, and so there he goes, he decided to cheat. And David was like out, and I think Michelle was like at home, and David was just out. And my behind is just like, why didn't he just kind of like break things off with her? And it's kind of so funny because then we have everybody literally defending Madison. We have everyone literally defending David and being like, you know what, Michelle didn't even like David anyway, so it doesn't really even matter. And I was even watching Little Black Book's podcast, like his YouTube live, and people were saying like, you know what, well, Michelle, you didn't even like him anyway, but it's just like, I mean, she still could have had a, you know what, why don't I multitask? So yeah, basically like David was caught sexting Michelle. Wow. David was caught sexting Michelle. No, not sexting Michelle, but he was sexting another woman while he was out. And I honestly think that like everyone who's offending David for this and like excusing him for like sexting and basically cheating, because I know he cheated. It's like, it's in the wrong. Like, you should never cheat. You should never sex another woman. You should just never sex another woman. Like, for me, it's just completely inappropriate. There is no excuse to that. And I'm just like, I think the reason why David did cheat is because he felt that like he didn't emotionally deserve Michelle, and he also probably thought that he didn't deserve Michelle financially. Like, he just thought like he was not good. He felt worthless to Michelle, and so he went and cheated by talking to or sexting another woman that he feels more comfortable around with and more satisfied with around with. I think David has a sexting problem and has a sex problem, just like Stefan from Love is Blind season 7. Like, that's what it's literally giving. All right, y'all, I am so sorry. I am back. I don't know why out of all, like, what is it? Out of all, I don't know why out of the 5 days, or just, I don't know why I decided to like post a video on a Friday, but Fridays I don't have classes. And when I could have recorded my video in school, but like, I be super busy in school. I be really hungry when I'm in school. Like, I commute to college, so I be really hungry. And I'm also like, I be really tired. And yesterday I had mad energy in school, but I still didn't put the effort to make a YouTube video yesterday, and I don't know why. So I'm continuing off with this whole situation. Sorry, I have been busy, but I gotta put this content out because it's like, who else is gonna do it? I gotta put this content out because being a YouTuber is not easy especially when it comes to recapping reality shows. It is not easy. But anyways, with the whole David and Michelle situation, I just think that like, when I saw a lot of people excusing David and Michelle, when I saw a lot of people excusing David for like what he did past episode, people were just like, nah, Michelle, like, she just needs to go. Like, she don't even like David anyways. Nah, bro, if she really didn't like him, she would be super nonchalant about him sexing another woman. Like, I mean, Michelle is literally trying to grow with David. Michelle is trying to grow on David. Like, she is trying to like, she's trying to get vibes from David, I believe. Like, she's trying to get her energy out with David. And you could already see, even like past episodes, she was literally feeling herself with David. She was getting her spark up with David. She was starting to get her spark back up, probably from before when she was on the show, but she was trying to get her spark up with David, disregarding the fact that like his financial situation is causing her anxiety and stress, which as she should be stressed, and she should have anxiety because of the situation. But my thing is, like, once I saw that David was sexting another woman, and then he made up the excuse where he was just like, "Oh no, I was texting that about my food, and I meant to text Denise about it. I sent that text message because of my food." I'm just like, how do you talk about food like that? Like, oh, I just want to eat you up. And I know I love me some food too. As somebody who loves food, as somebody who is obsessed with food, as somebody who is obsessed with like Chinese food, who is obsessed with fast food, I be talking about food, but I don't be talking about food to an extent where it's inappropriate. And then, so I'm just like, how does the two go together? Like, who says that? And it's like, I don't know if the man needs mental health, because if it was true, it's giving that this probably shows why David is kind of fat. And I'm sorry. And it probably shows why David, he just is the way how he is. I don't know. But like, for me, I'm kind of just questioning, like, how do you obsess with food? How do you obsess with food like that? How do you just make up an excuse and be like, nah, I meant to text my cousin Denise that like, oh, it's so good, I want to just eat you up. And it was my food because we were out to go eat food. And I accidentally pressed the button to you, Michelle. It's just like, how do you accidentally text your wife a message like, oh, I just want to eat you up? Like, to me, like, if I saw a married couple like go through something like that, I'm just like, that is a little bit weird. And I get it, I know she's your wife, but it's just like, come on. And like, also, you don't accidentally text your wife. Like, how do you accidentally send your wife an inappropriate message? Because I mean, I sometimes like, and don't get me wrong, I be sending people messages like, and it be the wrong person, but it's not until an extent where it's like extremely weird and it's extremely awkward. And for me, David gives very much weird and awkward vibes. I'm just like, I gotta talk about this because this, like, I've never seen something like this on Married at First Sight, except with the whole Paige situation where that guy, he like got his ex pregnant, and so then like it was a whole situation with that, and then like Paige was still trying to like marry the guy to continue marrying the guy. It was a lot. But with Paige and that other guy, I forget the guy, I'm not trying to blame it on Paige, but I remember. And for me, I'm just like, I've never seen like kind of a situation like this. It doesn't seem like too dramatic, but it's giving like, oh my God, like I haven't seen something dramatic in a while. And like, he's just claiming like, oh my God, like I was sexting another woman, like that. No, I don't know. He doesn't say that, but like, it's like, David, like you did cheat and you need to be held accountable. And then he was also trying to avoid the question. He was giving her attitude. I'm like, this, like, I've never seen David talk the most. Like, why was David getting heated? And it's like this situation where Michelle confronts him was the situation where like he has talking the most as well. Like you could see see this, to the way how he's talking, it shows how much guilt he has inside of him. Like he's talking a lot, like he's talking a lot, but it's like, okay, he's trying to talk a lot to kind of cover up the fact that like he actually did cheat by saying other excuses or by saying other reasonings or saying other nonsense. And so when Michelle confronts him, you could even see his attitude. It's like, so you have the nerve to have an attitude? That's what some people do. If they get confronted by a lie, they will start giving an attitude when you cannot convince them about the lie. Like when you can't convince them about the lie, they will start giving you an attitude. They will just start giving you attitude. And that is what David did. Like he just gave her shit. I was like, I've never seen David have so much attitude. And that goes to show that he is most definitely lying. He is most definitely lying to an extent where it's just like, it's so inappropriate. It is just super inappropriate. And for me, I'm like, I really have no words for this. Like, honestly, I don't know if Michelle should just break up yet from David, but I think Michelle is going to call Denise, whoever, but I think this might be maybe Michelle's breaking point, because I just feel so bad for Michelle, because she was even telling her friend about this and she felt super guilty. She felt super uncomfortable when Michelle went to her friend's house with David and was talking about David. Like, to me, I could feel that. And I think Michelle also tells like other castmates too. And like, I feel like that, I don't know if maybe Madison and David do end up together, because it's like, this is a lot. Like, I think this might be the couple swap that they were talking about for this season, but I'm just like, wow. And honestly, I kind of do see Madison and David as a good couple now. Like, they're both attractive. They're both like, they could attract one another. And I think Madison really likes David. And I'm honestly, now that I think about it, I don't really blame David for doing that, but I feel like that if David was really interested in Madison, what he should have done was had a conversation with Michelle. But then also Michelle's attractive too, so it's just like, come on, man. But then also Michelle was not giving David any talk back. So I could see where David is coming from, because this woman is just being nonchalant with him because he lives with his parents, and this woman is being nonchalant with him because of his living situation. And so it's just like this, like he has to walk on eggshells around Michelle. So I kind of don't blame David for wanting to be with Madison, but what he could have done to be mature, to claim like to claim like the person how he claims to be, what he should have done was talk it out with Michelle and be like, hey Michelle, look, like, I don't really like the way how you're coming after me because I live with my parents still. You're like just egging me on. Like, I don't like the way how you sometimes talk to me. You're very bratty. Like, you give an attitude, and like, I just want to kind of end it here. I cannot see you as my future wife anymore. Let's just divorce and move on. And if if Madison and Alan do not work out, hit Madison up after the show. Like, hit Madison up after the show. Like, you could just hit Madison up after the show and be like, hey, I'm really attractive to you. Like, I want to seek things out with you and see where it goes. And if it's a long lasting relationship, at least, then you made it work. Like, you made it work. But I think David just did an impulse decision by sexting or like by cheating. I think David is really impulsive in the situation. I think David could not control his actions while he was out away from Michelle. So I think Michelle is like an authoritative person towards David, and I don't think David needs that, because that's where David had resentment, because he didn't want to be honest. And see, David had to walk around eggshells with Michelle because he wants to avoid honesty. He wants to avoid honesty with Michelle. Like, he wants to avoid honesty. And people who walk around eggshells around other people, they love to avoid honesty, and they don't like to communicate. Like, I think that like Michelle and David are the worst communicators when it comes to being a couple, or like being a married couple, being a fake married couple, I should say, like Ashley and Tyler from Love Is Blind, a fake married couple, because they literally just I don't see the connection. Like, Michelle just eggs him on all the time, and then you got David, who's just straight up quiet. David don't got a vision. David don't got an identity. He just don't say anything. They are not a good couple. I think David would be better off more with Madison. Like, David would be so much more well off with Madison. Like, that's how I have to put it. Like, David will be so much well off with Madison, because I feel like that, like, David and Madison, they just align with each other better. Like, they're both attractive, like I said, and it's like, but I think David had made a really impulsive move. Like, he had to be, I don't know. I think David, though, he did come on the show for the right reasons, but you cheating on the show, now it's giving Jeremy, and Sarah Ann and Laura from Love Is Blind season 6. That's what it's literally giving. It's giving that whole love triangle. That's what's happening on Married at First Sight, which to me, it's like, okay, so you text a woman that like, oh, I want to eat you up so bad. Like, to me, that's just inappropriate. To me, that's inappropriate. And it's like, David would have not been caught if he didn't accidentally send Michelle the message. And so I'm just like, David, like, even you had Little Black Book 91 saying this on his channel. He was like, if you want to lie better. And like, I've even heard people say this in real life. Like, if you really want to lie, learn how to lie. And I think David he just didn't know how to be secretive. And I mean, honestly, now that I think about it, I don't blame David for wanting to be with Madison if that's where he ends up, because I think that's what I hear happens. Like, David is like with Madison today, probably. So I don't even know if David and Madison are a couple. Like, right now today, while I'm doing my own thing, I don't know if David and Madison are a couple. And I think I highly believe that David and Madison, they are a couple. But I think also for Michelle, I think Michelle just shooed David away. So I think this is kind of, no, this is not Michelle's fault. I think Michelle was trying to hold David accountable. I think Michelle is too much of a mature person for David, to where she don't want to work with David. And so I think David, like, he kind of just like played in her face by just like cheating on her, because he just felt just so worthless to be around her. Like, he just like, whenever, I think he just can't be in the same room as her, but like, I think he kind of fakes it till he makes it in front of Madison, in front of Michelle. Like, he kind of fakes it until he makes it in front of Michelle. And Michelle's a beautiful woman, and I'm just like, I'm just so frustrated that Married at First Sight and like the people, and Married at First Sight claims to be like good matchmaker, but they're not. Like, I feel like that Michelle, she didn't have the chance to like experience a real marriage with a man who has his shit together. She didn't have with a man who has his stuff together. Like, he did not have the curve. Like, he did not have the, like, they did not have the decency to put, like, just match people who they, like, match an independent woman with an independent man. Like, don't match an independent woman with basically a child. Like, to me, that is just so shady fugazi of like this casting department. And I don't know if Chris Colleen made this show up, but if Chris Colleen did make this show up too, Married at First Sight, then I could see why Jesse Wu calls him raggedy. Cause I'm just like, this is like, and I'm like, I just like looking at this, I feel super bad for Michelle, because I don't think, like, if Michelle really had to choose, like, could she date anybody else on this cast too as well? No, she can't. She gotta go move on, go back on a dating apps probably. She gotta go date organically, but I think she's gonna go far wherever she goes if she doesn't end up like married on the show. I'm talking about Michelle, because I get confused with Michelle and Madison. But with Madison, I think that Madison, though, and David would be a really good couple. Like, I kind of can't wait to see Madison and David as a couple. And if Madison and David don't work out, I might cry, because Madison and David do seem like they might be a genuine couple. I don't think Madison will question David for living with his parents. I think Madison could probably just look on the brighter side and teach David how to do things on his own. Maybe teach David how to, like, you know, clean a little bit better. Maybe teach David how to be a little bit more put together. Like, be a little bit less judgmental to David. I think David was always better off with Madison, and so I think the Married at First Sight casting department needs to accept Madison and David for the couple that they are today, because I believe they're a couple. But I think that, like, David has to apologize. Michelle deserves a lot of apologies. Michelle deserves a lot of payback. Michelle should sue the show. Like, Michelle should sue this show. Like, for real. Like, Michelle needs to sue the show like, for real. Like, 100%. She needs to sue this. He needs to sue the show. I think Michelle deserves a lot of grace, and I think Michelle just deserves a lot of, like, prayers over her. And with David, I don't see David I'm now looking at David side-eyed, but I'm just like, I'm honestly kind of happy that David could potentially be with Madison. Like, David deserves to be with Madison. I honestly wish nothing but the best for David and Madison if they are together. And honestly, I might back out David out of the situation, but I think Michelle deserves to sue this company, to sue this network, to sue Married at First Sight, to sue Kinetic Contact for partnering her up with a man who don't have his stuff together, who should have never probably been on this show. But yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Also hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys on my next videos. Toodles. Bye.